The estrus cycle represents the cyclical pattern of ovarian activity that facilitates female animals to go from a period of reproductive receptivity to non-receptivity, ultimately allowing the establishment of pregnancy following mating. The normal duration of an estrus cycle in goats is 17 to 24 days. In biology, mating is the pairing of either opposite sex or hermaphroditic organisms for the purposes of sexual reproduction. Fertilization is the fusion of two gametes. Copulation is the union of the sex organs of two sexually reproducing animals for insemination and subsequent internal fertilization. Observe estrus behaviors in male goats, sheep. Observe mating behaviors in male goats, sheep. A specific female goat's cubicle occupied with a male was chosen and observed for any behavior that showing signs of estrus cycle occurring. Sign that female show bleating, resembling such a cry, flagging of the tail reddened. Vulva-vaginal discharge causes the tail hairs to stick together, occasionally, and riding and by other does. Observed behaviors are compiled. A specific female goat's cubicle occupied with a male was chosen and observed for any behavior that showing sign of mating behavior. A specific sign of mating behavior. Sniffing doe's vulva and urine, raises his neck and upper lip while moving his head side to side. Flehmen reaction. Nudge the doe with his shoulder while pawing with foreleg. Observed behavior are compiled.
Aggressive, I like. I like.
3 factors: attractivity, receptivity, and proceptivity. Define estrus behavior. When a female engages in sexual behavior with a male, it is said to be proceptive, and which in goats involves approaching, sniffing, mounting, and wagging its tail. The estrus cycle of ewes lasts 17 days and 21 days for the doe. It is common to leave the males in a minimum of 34 to 42 days to ensure that each female has had 2 periods of estrus. The estrus cycle has 4 phases, namely prostrus, estrus, metstrus, and destrus. Behavior indicators, including bleating, tail flagging, a reddish vulva, vaginal discharge, which causes the tail hairs to stick together, and sporadic and riding and by other does, are used to detect estrus. In animals, mating activity involves indicating intent to mate, mate attraction, wooing. Copulation, post-copulatory activities that safeguard a male's paternity, and parental conduct. In many cases, a group of female goats' beginning of puberty and estrus is accelerated by the doe's more overt sexual behavior when the male is around. The doe's estrus typically lasts 32 to 40 hours, although she can only stand for 12 to 24 hours. According to the classification of goats as spontaneous ovulators, ovulation will take place between 30 and 36 hours following the commencement of heat. Prior to mating, both male and female goats engage in considerable sexual and wooing behavior that is influenced by pheromones, which are chemical attractants in bodily secretions that can be detected by the opposing sex. A doe who is open to sexual activity will become more interested in the buck when they smell his scent glands. Unease, tail switching, constant bleating, frequent urination, mucus, clear to cloudy discharge, and standing to be mounted by the buck are all indications of estrus. Reproductive activity of the goat begins when the females reach puberty, which happens at 5 months of age. The ovarian or estrus cycle is the period between 2 consecutive estrus. It is also the time that lasts the development of the follicle in the ovary, until rupture occurs and ovulation takes place, which coincides with the appearance of estrus. To achieve synchronization of estrus or induction of ovulation within or outside the breeding season, it may be necessary to manage light hours, male effect, and/or use of hormones.